Yo, what's going on, guys? I am your host, Badsheep, and this is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike action-adventure game where the player is tempted into a wormhole of exciting journeys and crusades, all whilst providing a genuinely heartwarming, fun experience. Pretty weird to blend adorable lambs with the dark art, but when you're surprised with this every so often, you can't help but feel a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. This game is truly a wonderful wolf of a base management game in the body of a woolly roguelike and balances its mix of genres with grace. Its adorable and eye-catching art style and surprising amount of side activities complements its linear, yet still entertaining storyline throughout the course of the game. Massive Monsters' take on dark arts meets cute, heartwarming lamb provides a combat system that genuinely keeps you coming back for more. Whilst it's not a game that you'll replay once your credit roll, this is a ritual I'll always remember. Cult of the Lamb places you in the hooves of a fluffy cult leader who was newly resurrected by a scary demon man named the One Who Waits. Now, it's up to you and your unworldly cult to battle other entities to free your deity. In this gripping adventure, you are always treated to a new excitement, like kidnapping innocents who totally don't deserve impending doom, or building a base for you and your new followers, as well as constantly evolving your power in a gripping talent-like system, which always keeps you coming back to learn that new advancement. This ever-evolving loop of gathering important supplies, tending to your followers and base, upgrading your powers, unlocking new weapons, armor and abilities, and then going out to crusade upon unworldly entities who you smite into oblivion really never gets old. Massive Minion style really brings an extra spell of joy into every ruthless, unforgiving edge of the game, allowing players to make decisions that rely on your conscience, whether you choose friendship or power. Cult of the Lamb is a dungeon crawler, which means every instance or dungeon you enter is completely randomized, as well as the items you come across as you become increasingly more powerful. Comparing it to other games really doesn't know justice, as its developers have created such a fruitful, engaging game that is just so satisfying. In a no-nonsense take of the roguelike genre, Cult of the Lamb's runs are so much shorter than other games, with crusades often taking just 10 minutes to complete. Whilst not a directly bad thing, it does limit the weapons you can attain during the run, as you are usually only provided a choice of randomized weapons at the beginning of the dungeon, meaning you can spin the wheel and receive one of the best weapons in the game, or trawl through an entire crusade wishing you had something else. Perhaps this is something for the developers to think about in the future, or maybe it was just selected as intentional design. Who knows? With a focused balance between an engaging combat system and a brilliant base building mechanism, alongside a plethora of side quests to complete, players can spend their time doing what they enjoy most. The base building mechanics allows players to treat their flock as they see fit, with their followers requiring sleep, food, and a clean environment to be happy. And speaking of food, followers occasionally poop, which provides a hilarious yet somehow practical spin on the game, using their processed goods as fertilization on crops. Building your base in Cult of the Lamb is a fantastical take on base management. In what can seem quite taxing at first, you unlock the ability to farm crops, mine stone and chop wood for resources, refine materials into valuable items, send your flock on exclusive missions to collect important loot, create an area for your worshippers to sleep, conduct sermons, thrilling rituals, sacrifices to siphon power, and so much more. With life, there's death, and your followers will occasionally die if not looked after. It is your duty as cult leader to dispose of the bodies accordingly, which can lead to some hilarious encounters at times. Your base, as well as your lamb, both have tech trees to level up. Using the power that your worshippers give you as they pray to you, you can unlock new buildings and base mechanisms that make it immensely satisfying to watch your base grow, both in physics and in automation. One of the biggest enjoyments of the game for me was just enjoying the balance that was managing faith, hunger, and the cleanliness of my followers. And you could also sacrifice them for immense power, which was actually great. Whilst enjoyable, it made me feel as if the individual attention on followers was nearly impossible. As you near the double digits, it's difficult to engage with all of your followers and you lose track of who's doing what. I couldn't tell who was doing tasks or praying or just doing nothing. Perhaps the developers could build a follower board where you can allocate tasks from a centralized system. Also, inspiring followers is a mechanic which you must do on an individualized basis and can be incredibly useful for building your power. But it becomes a lackluster, tiring system which you eventually just can't be bothered for. Perhaps a building which allows an automation of this system would be a perfect fix to what can become an eye-rolling mechanic in the end. Whilst this game has such an extensive system, it can leave you feeling pretty flustered. With the game mechanics not pausing or at least slowing down whilst on crusades, you feel rushed to complete your activities before your base has too much waste or your followers starve or even worse. Tending to your base can also take time, with the days within the game being quite short. You're left rushing to complete all of your daily tasks, around 80% being base activities. This does get notably better as you automate your systems like worshippers planting, watering and harvesting your crops for you. But the time spent in the limbo can often leave a sour taste in your mouth. One way, however, that Cult of the Lamb gives to its fans is through its endless cosmetic system, which provides hundreds of choices. With so many decoration opportunities, you can see a satisfying and visually appealing evolution of your base, moving from a small, shabby environment to a base that you genuinely look forward to immersing yourself into. I even started playing favorites with my followers, providing my virtual best friends with unique benefits like marrying them. Or for the ones that didn't quite make the cut, well, they were sent to be served with some mint sauce, if you get what I mean. Talking of sacrifices, Cult of the Lamb provides an incredibly fun way of balancing your conscience, as sacrificing your most elite worshippers provides powerful bonuses, allowing you to level up quicker and unlock powerful weapons that make all the difference in your crusades. In this hilarious balancing act, your often favorited followers can become your most likely for sacrificing. I think a part of what makes this game so entertaining is how it celebrates its widely goofy theme. It absolutely nails its cartoon, adorable vibes in its demonic setting. With an unforgettable soundtrack, I literally drove my girlfriend mad humming this whilst eating dinner. It's just so catchy. Cult of the Lamb uniquely pulls you back in for more every single time. Its combat system feels very slick and, whilst recommended for controller, PC plays extremely well. With a randomized weapon and a single spell ability, you're treated to a system that actually feels great. As your primary source of movement, your roll ability allows you to smoothly avoid combat mechanics from your enemies, which overall feels really great. Within every crusade, you're treated to a boss fight, which as you progress, gets significantly harder. Whilst at no level of the likes of Dark Souls or Elden Ring, the game's mechanics are difficult enough to make you sit up in your chair and tell your family to stop talking at you for just 5 more minutes, as dying can be quite unforgiving. Within your talent-like system, alongside your unique power-ups and gearing mechanics, you can combine different items to get huge damage bonuses of up to and past 500%, making the combat system that extremely more satisfying as well as engaging. As your woolly hooves dance around the floors of a deep and dark dungeon, you can literally one-shot some of the hardest monsters in the game, which is just so fun, albeit difficult to achieve. Alongside your different selection of weapons and abilities, you can find Terra-based cards that support your outing. This is kind of underwhelming, so keep an eye out for them, they definitely add up, but it's a mechanic that's kind of meh. I hope the developers work on this a little bit. So, whilst we talk about main mechanics of the game, there's a lot of side activities that we mentioned prior that we haven't really gone into. So, there's just so much more to do, way more than I expected. With a whole world map and different locations you can visit, each with their own shops and lovable characters, you can engage in fun activities like playing unique mini-games where you can go and bet on coin, go fishing for loot that really actually is worth your while, side quests that send you back in time to complete activities you've already beaten with increased loot and challenges. There's a lot to do and it almost feels endless. That said, After nearly 13 hours of managing your lovable minions and defeating unworldly entities across this amazing immersive world, you definitely feel as if you've had your money's worth when the credit screen rolls down. I honestly had a blast with this game, and I really can't speak higher of it. Yes, there's a couple of discrepancies here and there, but overall, there's so much more good than the bad. What I would say is it feels like a linear campaign storyline, which is completely fine, I guess, but it doesn't really fit into the genre. And the journey you enroll on is great, but the storyline isn't that fantastic. This being said, this journey is one you won't forget. The blend of themes, the playstyle, combat system, and amazing base management mechanics truly makes it just such a fun game you can sit down and play. While it's not something I'll constantly revisit unless they do bring out some DLCs, the most important thing for me is that it took me back to when I was a kid, and I just couldn't wait to get back on my computer. Just as I was finishing work up, I was thinking about, okay, what story am I going to go on tonight? And what am I going to do next in this incredible world? So, do I recommend playing this game? Is it worth your money? Absolutely. And I don't think you'll regret it. It's one of those games that you'll look back on and think, damn, that was cool. I wish I could go through that again for the first time. I hope I haven't been too explicit in what I've shown today because I really didn't want to ruin this experience for anyone. It's got a lot of hidden, cool things that you just don't want to ruin. You want to go through yourself and find out and uncover the stories, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I couldn't recommend this more. There's a couple of discrepancies here and there, but nothing's perfect. And I think for such an indie game studio, Massive Monster have reached above and beyond and truly made a game that you will look back on and remember for the first time you played it and really miss that nostalgic feeling that you completed it for the first time. But I wish you guys all the best, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.